So sent those women up into the atmosphere for 11 minutes. Now we know what a billionaire will do for 10 minutes of peace and quiet. When the spacecraft cost as much as the plastic surgery. And here we are using paper straw, and look at her. Can we send her back there again? Good job accomplishing absolutely nothing.
It started as a joke, a throwaway meme song stitched together from YouTube comments, mocking Katy Perry's bizarre space-themed collaboration with Blue Origin.
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
It's so cringy.
At first, no one, not even the creator, thought it would go anywhere. It was silly, chaotic, and borderline nonsensical, but that was exactly the point. The audio looped a mashed-up auto-tune of Katy's robotic interview lines with clips of her floating in zero gravity, spliced with comment screenshots and AI-generated visuals.
You look ridiculous. Everybody looks ridiculous. This isn't a moment for feminism. That's a rocket that was designed, flown, and paid for by men, and you are simply baggage on that rocket. That's all it is.
The whole thing was absurd, and the internet couldn't get enough. Within days, it exploded across Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. People were quoting it, remixing it, even turning it into reaction duets. 10 million views. Just like that, the parody went from inside joke to internet wildfire. But then, just as fast, it was gone.
I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this.
We're talking about it. We got girl bosses in space, and it's a tremendous accomplishment.
I'm so embarrassed to be a woman right now.
The 11-minute space flight that was touted as some kind of divine feminine gift to humanity.
One moment, the creator's upload was sitting at 10.3 million views, raking in comments like, "This is better than her last album," and "How is this not satire perfection?" And the next? Deleted. Not private, not unlisted, fully nuked. Viewers refreshed the page and got the dreaded video unavailable message. No explanation, no statement, just radio silence. That's when the whispers started.
The crew who flew in space this week on an automated flight by Blue Origin were glam. But you cannot identify as an astronaut.
Some users claimed they saw a now-deleted tweet from the creator hinting that certain people weren't thrilled. Others alleged they spotted a screenshot showing a copyright claim, though nothing was verified. But with no official reason given, the speculation took over. And let's just say, people weren't shy. Rumors swirled that Katy Perry's team had finally seen the video and hated it, that her lawyers were looped in, that her PR machine was moving behind the scenes, contacting platforms, maybe even threatening action.
Spent no more than 4 minutes of intense pleasure up there, came back and talked about how much in love she was with it, how amazing it all was, and she's talking as if she's Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin, you know, landing on the moon, first people planting a flag. She was in space for 4 minutes. She's got longer songs than that.
It's just so ridiculous the way some of the media were covering it, the way they were like self-congratulatory. They've gone next level.
Fans who'd been watching the numbers climb couldn't believe it. Why take down something so harmless? Unless, of course, it wasn't harmless. Unless someone saw it as an attack, or worse, a humiliation. And in the age of tightly controlled celebrity branding, one thing's clear. Embarrassment is the real threat. Because if a meme song can mock your $1 million space stunt and win, then the power dynamic shifts. And not everyone's ready for that. But the moment that video vanished, the conversation changed. It wasn't just about a song anymore. It was about control. And suddenly, Katy Perry wasn't laughing. Or if she was, it sure wasn't in public.
I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
Thank you for having me. What were they up there, 10 minutes?
It's important as they beam this woman into outer space.
So, did Katy Perry's team really step in? That's the question lighting up every comment thread, gossip forum, and fan subreddit. No one has concrete proof, but let's be honest. When a parody song hits 10 million views mocking a celebrity's most carefully staged PR moment, you can bet her team noticed. And according to several users who claim to be in the loop, they did more than just notice. They allegedly sent warnings. Behind the scenes, beneath the surface, rumors say the message was loud and clear. Take it down, or we will. Sources speculate the pushback wasn't just about copyright either.
What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what did she
brought a
learn?
daisy, which is super important. It shows you how quick the flight was. The dead daisy that's like snipped from its life source was still alive or still vibrant.
Yeah, and it's
Look at her.
always
Shout out Daisy.
Some claim Katy's PR reps weren't concerned with fair use or song rights. They were furious over the tone. The idea that Perry's multi-million-dollar partnership with Blue Origin, something meant to symbolize innovation, luxury, and Katy's space-age brand evolution, was being reduced to a meme. One insider even alleged that a rep from her camp called the video defamatory, though no legal filings have been made public. But in the court of internet opinion, it's not about what's official, it's about what feels true. And to fans, the Vanishing Act didn't feel like a creator making a choice. It felt like someone got scared. The timing only fueled the fire.
I mean, watching Katy Perry kiss the ground when she got out, you would have sworn she'd been trapped at the space station for 3 years. I mean, it was an 11-minute journey, okay, from takeoff to touchdown. It's not like she went to Mars.
The video disappeared just after a sudden spike in quote tweets mocking Katy's robotic tone and midlife rebrand. Someone dug up an old clip of her doing space-themed promo for a fragrance, and suddenly the internet had a whole new narrative. Katy Perry, queen of manufactured moments. And just like that, the meme wasn't just funny, it was dangerous. It exposed the cracks, the distance between the image and the reality. The pop star who once made Teenage Dream into a generational anthem, now being dunked on for floating around in zero gravity like a corporate mascot? Ouch. And yet no one from her team has confirmed anything. No tweets, no Instagram stories, no statements, just silence.
And the minute the cameras found Oprah, I thought Gayle King was bringing back some rare interplanetary minerals or something. Oprah's crying. What's she crying about? I mean, this is an 11-minute journey. It's the equivalent of driving around your neighborhood, Laura.
The kind of silence that feels strategic, calculated. Because saying nothing, in this case, says everything. It leaves room for people to believe the worst, and that's exactly what they're doing. Every hour the video stays down, the rumor hardens into something more. The narrative that Katy Perry couldn't take a joke and had to shut it down to save face. To understand why this meme blew up and why it might have rattled Katy's team so badly, you have to hear what it was actually saying. Because on the surface, it was just another goofy internet song, but underneath, it was brutal. The creator had stitched together Katy's now infamous Blue Origin promo clips with snippets of her past interviews, heavily auto-tuned to sound almost Android-like. Over a synth-heavy beat, it looped her space-related soundbites, weightless, future of humanity, uncharted frontiers, with a deadpan delivery that made her sound like she was auditioning for a Tesla commercial.
Going to space was an incredible achievement 60 years ago, and now it's something that a YouTuber can do.
And over it all, sarcastic YouTube comments flashed on screen. Katy Perry for president of Mars. This is what happens when AI writes your press kit. Somebody unplug her. It was funny, it was sharp, and it didn't hold back. The video didn't just poke fun at the space collab, it sliced into it. There were side-by-side cuts of her floating in zero gravity next to cartoon aliens, grainy stock footage of 50s sci-fi women fainting, and most damningly, a slow zoom on her face with the caption, "When your label says this will save your career." The internet ate it up. The tone was mocking, yes, but also strangely mournful. Like people weren't just laughing at Katy, they were pointing out how far she'd drifted from the version of herself they once loved. And that may be why it stung. Because if this had been a sloppy meme with no traction, Katy's team might have brushed it off. But this was surgical, the kind of parody that sticks.
You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Goodness. I will never be the same.
The kind that makes people rethink you. And worse, it was all made from her own words. No deep fakes, no voice impersonation. Just footage she willingly gave the world, remixed into something she couldn't control. That's what made it feel so dangerous, so personal. The meme was funny because it felt true, and that's the kind of thing PR teams lose sleep over. Not scandal, not even criticism, but mockery that resonates. That's what they rush to kill, because they know how quickly it spreads. And in this case, the creator didn't just remix Katy Perry, he reframed her, from a pop icon to a punchline, from a star to a simulation, and the fact that millions laughed along, that's what makes the silence feel less like damage control and more like surrender. This wouldn't be the first time Katy Perry's team scrambled to put out a fire, only to make it worse. If there's one thing her PR machine is known for, it's its allergic reaction to mockery, and this isn't a new development. Longtime fans remember the Left Shark fiasco, when a backup dancer at the Super Bowl went viral for flubbing the choreography. Instead of embracing the chaos, Katy's camp reportedly sent cease and desist letters to Etsy creators selling Left Shark merch. That's right, handmade felt toys and t-shirts. The internet laughed harder, and Left Shark became bigger than the performance itself. That was the first red flag. When parody strikes, Katy's team doesn't clap back. They clamp down. Then came the Bon Appetit backlash. When her oversexed cooking-themed video with Migos landed with a splat, critics called it confusing, tone-deaf, and desperate. Twitter roasted the aesthetic. Think, budget Lady Gaga meets MasterChef nightmare.
You know how I know that didn't happen, Megan? Because it's not something they could do, because they're not friends with Jeff Bezos, right? Like, the whole thing is a farce. Their message for women was take up space.
Instead of riding the irony, Katy's interviews after the release felt defensive, almost combative, like she couldn't understand why people weren't buying what she was selling. She went on a bizarre live stream therapy marathon, shaving her head and saying she was tired of playing the pop star character. But even that felt like a move. Curated vulnerability that didn't land the way she hoped. And let's not forget the woke Katy era. A string of awkward moments during her 2017 album rollout, including using black vernacular in interviews and joking about cultural appropriation, ignited waves of criticism. And what did her team do? Not pivot, not apologize. They over-explained. The response came across as cold, corporate, and out of touch. It reeked of scripted contrition, damage control disguised as empathy. So when fans started whispering that Katy's people were behind the takedown of the meme song, it didn't feel far-fetched. It felt predictable. A rerun of the same playbook, stamp out the joke before it takes hold. But here's the twist. This time, the internet noticed immediately. The second the video vanished, the narrative started writing itself. Not just, she can't take a joke, but she's doing it again. Because in 2024, trying to silence a meme is like trying to unspill glitter. The harder you try, the louder it gets. And Katy's team should know that. But maybe that's the real story here. Not the meme, not even the lawsuit rumors, but the pattern. The repeated failure to understand that the internet doesn't reward polish. It rewards authenticity. Even messy, chaotic, meme-fueled authenticity. And when you try to fight that with polished statements and behind-the-scenes pressure, you don't look powerful, you look paranoid.
You have never said to an astronaut, boy, what a ride. You know, we duplicated the same trajectory that Alan Shepard did back in the day, pretty much. No one called that a ride. It was called a flight. It was called a journey, because a ride implies that it's something frivolous or something that's lighthearted. There was nothing frivolous about what we did.
The most unnerving part, the creator's silence. For someone who just had a viral hit evaporate overnight, they've said remarkably little. No YouTube community post, no new upload, no dramatic video titled, "Why I Took Down the Meme Song." Nothing. Their entire channel is still up, but eerily quiet. And for the kind of creator who was replying to comments and even reposting fan remixes just days before, the sudden ghosting is raising even more eyebrows. It's almost like someone flipped a switch. Some fans claim they did speak, briefly. Screenshots have circulated of what might have been a now-deleted tweet, where the creator allegedly wrote, "When people with better lawyers start calling, you listen." Others say they caught an Instagram story, just a black screen with the word complicated and a zipped mouth emoji. But with no verified statements, it's all speculation. And that speculation is boiling over into full-on conspiracy mode. One theory, the creator got hit with a cease and desist. Maybe not a formal lawsuit, but a very firm suggestion from Perry's camp. The kind of thing that doesn't go public, but lands hard in your inbox, signed by someone with legal counsel in their email footer. The timing certainly lines up. The song crossed the 10M threshold just hours before it vanished. And that's exactly when high-level PR teams tend to act. Not when it's small, but when it starts making headlines. But another theory is floating around too, and it's more unnerving. What if the creator didn't get threatened at all? What if they just panicked? Realized too late they were punching above their weight? When you go from 10,000 views to 10 million, you're no longer some anonymous poster. You're a headline, a liability. And if you know your target has the power to make your life miserable, maybe you pull the plug before they do. It's the ambiguity that makes it so tense. There's no farewell message, no curtain call, just poof. And the longer the creator stays quiet, the more room people have to fill in the blanks. Some think they're negotiating, others think they're scared. A few even claim they were bought off, paid to disappear the video quietly. And while there's zero proof of that, the internet doesn't run on proof. It runs on vibes. And, right now, the vibe is that someone got scared and someone else wanted them to be. So why this meme? Why did this particular parody trigger such a disproportionately intense reaction, allegedly from Katy Perry's team? After all, celebrities get mocked online every single day. There are AI voice memes, remix culture, even full-on animated roasts that rack up views by the millions. But this one? This hit a nerve. And the reason may be less about the video itself. and more about what it revealed, that the audience sees right through her. The Blue Origin stunt was supposed to be triumphant. Reinvention. Katy Perry 2.0, floating in zero gravity, talking about the future of music and space travel. It was carefully choreographed to feel like something bigger than pop music, an evolution. But the internet didn't buy it.
Katy Perry is not technically an astronaut right now, is because none of the people in this capsule could actually operate anything. It was all being remotely controlled. So it was cool. They took a very, very expensive, very, very cool roller coaster ride that technically put them into space.
They didn't see a pioneer. They saw a brand exercise. A rich pop star strapped to a billionaire's rocket speaking in buzzwords and grinning through pre-cleared talking points. And the meme song captured exactly that feeling. It mocked the corporate tone, the try-hard futurism, the mismatch between what she thought the moment meant and what the public actually saw. The creator didn't invent the backlash. They channeled it, and that's what made the video so dangerous. It turned unspoken public awkwardness into something tangible, shareable. It gave a soundtrack to the cringe. Suddenly, people who had been unsure how to feel about Katy's latest era had the perfect shorthand, that meme song. It was no longer just a performance, it was a punchline. Even worse, it didn't feel mean. It felt accurate, and that's the kind of criticism you can't spin. It wasn't attacking her as a person. It wasn't cruel. It was funny. But beneath the humor, there was an emotional charge. People weren't laughing at her. They were laughing at the machine around her. The cold PR, the tone-deaf branding, the glossy detachment that's defined so much of her recent output. The meme broke that wall. It said what a lot of people were already thinking, that this version of Katy Perry isn't working, and no amount of weightless acrobatics is going to fix that. So when the video crossed 10 million views, it wasn't just going viral, it was making a statement. It was confirmation that the public was no longer on board, and that's when the stakes changed. Because now it wasn't about a funny edit. It was about power, perception, and whether one meme could undo months of carefully constructed PR. And for a team obsessed with control, that's not a meme. That's a meltdown. The second the video vanished, the backlash began. And it wasn't coming from Katy Perry haters. It was coming from everyone. Fans, meme lovers, music critics, even creators who'd never mentioned her name before. The takedown, whether it was legally enforced or self-inflicted, turned a silly meme into a movement. Suddenly, it wasn't just about the song. It was about what the song represented. Censorship, insecurity, celebrity fragility, and the internet was not having it. TikToks blew up overnight. Creators started making reaction videos, parodying the parody, asking, "Where did it go?" with dramatic zooms and sarcastic sobbing. Twitter threads went wild, compiling every shred of alleged proof that Katy's team had pulled the strings. People started reposting short clips they'd saved before the takedown, urging others to archive and re-upload. "They can't kill the meme," one post read. "It lives in us now." And while dramatic, they weren't wrong. The Streisand effect kicked in hard. Deleting the video only made it more famous, but the backlash wasn't just loud, it was personal. Longtime fans began openly questioning her team's choices. Some said they felt embarrassed for her. Others called it the final nail in the PR coffin. Even neutral onlookers, people who hadn't thought about Katy Perry in years, jumped into the discourse, saying the whole ordeal made her seem thin-skinned, outdated, and out of touch with internet culture. When you've reached the point where non-fans are mocking your inability to take a joke, it's not just a bad look, it's a reputation shift.
Their tasks included practicing how to get into and out of the New Shepard capsule.
And then came the jokes. Oh, the jokes. Threads titled "Katy Perry has declared war on fun" started popping up. Memes of her face edited onto a spaceship dashboard with the caption "T-10 seconds until cease and desist." Someone edited the original Blue Origin footage with sound bites from old school villains, complete with evil laughter and legal threats. It was chaos, and she wasn't even trending for her music anymore. She was trending for deleting a meme. Ironically, the takedown might have done more damage than the meme ever could, because now it's not about the creator or the views or even the content. It's about the perception that Katy Perry, and by extension her entire team, reacted like it was 2006, not 2025. Like they still think control is possible in a digital world where nothing ever truly disappears. Here's where things get murky. Could Katy Perry's team have actually forced the video offline, legally? The short answer, maybe. The longer answer? It's complicated. Because while celebrities can issue takedown requests, it depends entirely on what grounds they're using. And with parody, that's where the lines blur. If the meme song used actual clips of Katy's music without alteration, it might fall under copyright infringement. But according to fans who remember the video, that wasn't the case. It didn't sample her songs. It sampled her speaking, promotional interviews, publicly available press material, the kind of stuff that's fair game under commentary and satire laws. And since the entire video was structured as a remix, creative reinterpretation of her public persona, it starts to look a lot like parody. And in the US, parody is protected speech. So on paper, this shouldn't have been an open and shut copyright violation. But here's the catch. Platforms like YouTube don't operate like courts. They respond to pressure, and pressure doesn't always need legal teeth to be effective. It just needs weight. If a verified legal team from a celebrity of Katy Perry's magnitude sends a strongly worded takedown notice, YouTube might comply, even if the claim wouldn't hold up in court. It's not about what's true, it's about what's risky, and few platforms want to be caught in the middle of a legal brawl with a pop star and her billion-dollar backing. So maybe there wasn't a lawsuit, maybe there wasn't even a real copyright claim, maybe it was just an intimidating message, a friendly reminder that continuing to circulate the video could come with consequences. And for a creator who went viral practically overnight, that might be enough. Most creators don't have legal teams. They don't want a drawn-out battle. They just want to keep their channel.
Were you ever nervous that you were going to be the next submarine implosion? Like whenever rich people go in a small vessel, it usually blows up.
So they fold, quietly, quickly. Especially if the email ends with something like, "We trust you'll make the right decision." And that's the genius of it. If this was a bluff, it worked perfectly. No one had to go public. No statements were made. The song disappeared, and Katy's image stayed marginally more intact, technically. But what her team may not have anticipated is this. The legal ambiguity is exactly what makes the story go viral. Because now people are asking, what's parody? What's censorship? What's intimidation? And the more they ask, the worse it looks. Because when celebrities start leaning on vague threats to silence memes, it doesn't make them look powerful. It makes them look scared. Katy Perry's silence is starting to speak louder than any official statement ever could. While her fans and critics duke it out across every social media platform, she stayed completely quiet. No tweets, no stories, no shady likes, nothing. For someone whose career once thrived on quirky public engagement and meme-ready moments, the radio silence feels less like strategy and more like damage control gone wrong. And that vacuum? It's given everyone else space to talk. Loudly. Industry insiders have started chiming in, with a few media commentators quietly shading the whole ordeal. One entertainment lawyer, posting anonymously on Reddit, suggested that Perry's team may have exercised a soft legal flex, meaning they didn't technically violate free speech, but made it clear they could make someone's life very difficult if they wanted to. Meanwhile, PR experts on LinkedIn and Substack have started calling it a textbook case of how not to handle viral criticism. The consensus? If you're going to threaten legal action over a meme, you better have a rock-solid case, or risk turning your brand into a punchline. Even other artists have begun weighing in, albeit subtly. One alt-pop singer reposted a screenshot of the now-deleted video, with the caption, "Some of y'all need thicker skin." A comedy YouTuber tweeted, "Imagine trying to go to space and still being brought back to Earth by a meme song." And though no one's named names, it's clear who they're talking about. It's not just public discourse anymore, it's inside industry embarrassment. What's especially wild is that Katy's own peers, the generation of artists who came up with her, used to lean into internet chaos. Lady Gaga, for instance, reposts memes about herself constantly. Even Taylor Swift, once allergic to public shade, now treats it as part of her brand evolution. But Katy? Her response has always been stiffer, defensive, controlled, which worked in the early 2010s, but in today's meme economy, that approach reads as disconnected. And it's not just Katy who's gone quiet. Her team, her label, even Blue Origin, who originally partnered with her on the space stunt, have all gone dark. No one wants their name attached to the internet's current favorite roast. Especially not when the narrative has shifted from, haha, look at this funny meme, to, wow, look how hard they're trying to erase it. But here's the thing, when everyone else talks and you don't, people assume guilt. And the longer she says nothing, the more it looks like she's hiding from the joke instead of owning it. And that's the real PR nightmare. Not the meme, not the video, but the absence of any response. Because in a world that rewards transparency, even fake, performative transparency, silence feels like an admission. What started as a silly meme has turned into a full-blown cultural commentary. And it's not just about Katy Perry anymore. It's about what happens when a celebrity, backed by money, teams, and tightly wound branding strategies, tries to silence the one thing the internet refuses to let go of: authentic ridicule. This wasn't a deep expose or some shocking documentary. It was a low-effort, high-impact meme song that simply told the truth too well, and that's what made it dangerous. Not because it was mean, but because it resonated. And in 2025, that kind of resonance is more threatening than any headline. This entire saga has laid bare a growing divide. Celebrities who are still operating like it's the old Hollywood system, scripted, polished, immune, and a generation of digital creators who live in chaos, thrive in it, and make a living turning polish into punchlines. Katy Perry used to be one of the few pop stars who got the internet. Her early videos, her candy-coated humor, her goofy energy, it all clicked with the Tumblr crowd, the early YouTube era. But somewhere along the line, she lost the thread. And now, instead of adapting to the moment, her camp is allegedly trying to control it, smother it, pretend it never happened. And that's the irony. In trying to protect her image, they only made it worse. They transformed a niche meme into a headline. They confirmed the one thing they didn't want people to believe, that Katy Perry, in her current form, is out of touch. Not because she went to space, but because she came back to Earth clueless about the fact that you can't delete culture. You can't outmaneuver the algorithm. And you definitely can't copyright your way out of being the internet's favorite joke of the week. So now the conversation isn't, did Katy Perry threaten legal action? It's, why does it feel like she did? It's, why can't stars take a joke anymore? It's, who's next? Because this isn't going to stop. If anything, it's only going to get worse for celebrities who still think they can script the unscriptable. Meme culture doesn't care about your press release. It doesn't care how many brand deals you have. It cares about authenticity. And if it doesn't see it, it'll remix your fakery into something funnier, truer, and more viral than anything your team could ever manufacture. So what do you think? Was Katy Perry's team really behind the takedown? Or was it just a coincidence timed too perfectly to ignore? Let us know in the comments. And while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video on your screen is waiting. And trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.